Welcome back to ESBR Boxing in partnership with sharpbetting.co.uk. Please click the link in the description to find out more about them. If you like the occasional flutter, they offer all sorts of insight, analysis, betting tips on sports, not just boxing, football, horse racing, and other sports as well. Niall, good to be joined by you. We have just seen David Adeleye defeats Jamie TKV in round six. And we've got a few things to say about it. Gonna address the elephant in the room now. I think, well, obviously this is kind of an instant reaction, so I'm sure social media is going crazy and people saying things on the zone and things like that. But it appears that the referee called for break, kind of taps Jamie TKV on the gloves as if to say break, and then a second later, um, TKV gets hit with a shot that he doesn't kind of that he goes down from, gets back up from. But yeah, it was that shot that really did the damage in terms of kind of the fight being ended. Give us your thoughts just kind of on that stoppage, please.
Yeah, it's crazy. As we were kind of touching on briefly there off camera, it wasn't a great fight, but the ending was bizarre. We haven't really seen an ending like that in a long time, but it's disgraceful to be honest with you how it ended. In terms of he definitely hit him on the break. You could see that in real time that he did hit him on the break, the heavy shot, and then of course you see the replay, and the referee has a hold of Jamie TKV's glove as well to add on to that. So yeah, the referee has an awful lot to answer for in that one. Crazy finish, as you said there, kind of off camera as well. I don't necessarily blame David Adelaide. We'd seen kind of a bit of previous of that in the build up, the rounds. The preceding rounds. A hitting on the break. I think Jamie TKV had kind of hit on the break against Adelaide, and Adelaide had hit Jamie TKV in the back, and that sort of stuff. So there was something kind of brewing there, but. Yeah, such a horrible way for Jamie TKV to lose it, but I think there will be appeals of that loss, just the way the referee had his hand on the glove, leaving Jamie TKV unprotected, and he did call for the break. So yeah, it's a pretty disgraceful ending. You'll feel for Jamie TKV, but yeah, it's the ending definitely made up for a lackluster kind of fight before that.
Yeah, it wasn't a great fight. I think it was built. There was kind of obviously we all saw what happened at the press conference a couple of days ago. There seemed to be a lot of animosity there, and yeah, the fight didn't really deliver from an entertainment aspect, but it did from a controversial aspect. Yeah, my kind of thoughts on the stoppage were boxing's a sport when there's a lot of adrenaline. So same with you. I just don't blame David Adelaide. I just think the referee. I think when you're officiating a fight between two heavyweights, you have to be sometimes physical with as a referee and kind of step in and physically separate the two men yourself. Sometime in a way that if these guys were two bantamweights, you wouldn't have to do that. So yeah, I feel bad for TKV, and you can't deny that that punch that landed just had a big effect on him. Um, on the fight now, how at the end of round five, which is further than a lot of people thought this fight was going to go, at the end of round five, how did you have it, and which way did you think it was going to go?
Yeah, I'm definitely one of the ones that didn't think it was going to go that far. Myself, and we did mention it was a pretty lackluster fight, but I have to credit Jamie TKV. I gave Jamie TKV most of them kind of early rounds, to be honest with you, and credit to him. It's kind of the best I've seen him box. May not have been pleasing on the eye, but I expected David Adelaide to kind of blast Jamie TKV out of there quite early. I've not really rated Jamie TKV for a long time. I thought Adelaide would have too much kind of athleticism, explosiveness, and power, but I thought Jamie TKV dictated the pace of the fight very well. Box well, good jab, kind of decent enough footwork to what he's shown before. Did kind of spoil it on the inside, didn't let David Adelaide work up close, but I thought Jamie TKV was winning a lot of those early rounds. And in terms of how it was going to go, if it continued at the status quo, obviously it was, Jamie TKV's fight to lose. But David Adelaide with that power, you just can never count him out. I know it was controversial the way it ended, but even if he was to lose plenty of more rounds, you could never count him out with that huge punching power. But yeah, TKV fought really, really well there. That's what makes it even more repeaty with how it ended.
Yeah. No, definitely. Look, I thought my prediction for this fight was Adelaide inside 3 rounds. Similar fashion to what happened in the Sol Dakers fight, to be honest. But TKV, as you said, look, it was not entertaining, but he gave a good account of himself. Um, Two more questions for you now, because we've got a main event to watch. Will I'm not going to ask you if you think we'll see a rematch because you're not the British Boxing Board of Control, and I think there should be a rematch after what's happened. That would make sense, but boxing as a sport a lot of the time doesn't make sense. My question to you is who would you favour in a rematch? We've seen Jamie TKV have the success that he was having in this fight. He was arguably winning the fight up until the stoppage, but Adelaide's he's got clearly got a lot of power there. If there was a rematch announced next, what would your prediction be?
Yeah, I think there deserves to be a rematch. Absolutely. As I said earlier, there will be appeals, I'd imagine, for this, for there to be a rematch. There deserves to be appeals with how the referee kind of handled that. We've seen it recently with Crocker Donovan. It's kind of a repeat now with the referee is coming under scrutiny, and there will be an appeals process. But if it does come to fruition, as I said. As I said, Jamie TKV put on a kind of a career best performance there for those 5 rounds. Can he replicate that? That's the question. Can he rise to those heights again? Um, I don't know. I'll say he will because of how well he boxed there, but he'll have to repeat that, kind of I won't say punch perfect performance, but that's the best that he'll have to box to get a win. I can just never count out David Adelaide with the power. I really can't. I like David Adelaide as a fighter, and I just think he'd catch him eventually again. Yeah, and it just comes down to for me, as I said, I don't think Jamie TKV could possibly fight that well again. So I'd go for Adelaide in a rematch, but it'd be a lot closer. I wouldn't be as confident as I was coming into this one, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. One thing I'd say about the rematch, hope it happens in London. Had two Londoners fighting in Manchester tonight. I don't know if you can make any sense of that. No, I certainly can't. So that's one thing I wish for the rematch. It happens in London. Could it main event? Maybe Wembley Arena? Maybe. Who knows? I think it potentially could do. So we'll see. Niall, good to be joined by you as always, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Cheers, take care.